I'm John, and this is Josh, and today we're going to show you a few tech tips. Mostly Josh is going to show you because he is the guru. So why don't you take it over here, Josh?
Okay, John. Yeah, what we're going to work on today is taillight assemblies. And these are 54 through 56, and what we're going to show you is how to install the gaskets, which gaskets go where, and then also how to mount the lenses and how to modify a lens for a 56 that has a chrome spear on the top of it. So what we have here is the Caddy Daddy taillight gasket kit along with taillight assemblies for demonstration. The kit comes with 8 pieces altogether, and there's 4 used per side. This long tubular piece is for the backup light housing or lens, and it goes in the groove all around this lower part. The other one that seals against a lens is this one here, kind of triangular shape, and it goes into the upper housing, and it's what the red part of the lens seals against. This piece here with the rounded section goes between the upper housing and the lower housing and seals the upper and lower together on this surface, then seals against the car body on this surface. And finally we have the lower gasket that goes between the lower assembly and the car body and up the back slightly. So all these seals are held in place with adhesive. Remembering on your driver's side, this one opens for your fuel filler, so this gasket must be held in place so it doesn't just flop around when you go to fill up the car. So when we're preparing to install the gaskets, there is one that you have to cut to length, and that's the one, this round one for the backup light lens. So what you want to do is get yourself a good starting point. Get back to this other side, see where they meet, and cut off the small amount of excess. The next step for this one, we'll go ahead and get our tube of adhesive and run a small bead. This is the hardest one to do, to try to get down into this tight groove. Move on to the other underside, which uses, as the sitting in the upright position, this gasket mounts like that with the ears on the back folding up in there. And so this one here, we'll want to apply the adhesive to both sides. This adhesive needs to set for a few moments, so we'll let it set and we'll come back to put that in the proper position. Okay, this looks good now. It's a little bit tacky, just like the instructions say it should be. Put everything in place. If you got a helper, you might have them give you a hand with this. Hey John, can you come over here and give me a hand? Take this over and we got some of those little clamps. Can you clamp those ears down for me?
All right.
And then set this down so it's got some weight on it and let that all bond?
Good.
Okay, thank you. And now we'll take and go on to the upper assembly. And so we've got the gasket that's for the lens assembly itself. And this one here is going to want to stay in place pretty well on its own. This one here is mounted in this position, so it seals against the car body and the lower assembly. So now we can mount this gasket. There we go. So these are some of the lenses and other items you can purchase from Caddy Daddy for your project. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the difference between the 1956 lens and the 2 years prior. 56 has the chrome spear on top, which may not seem like a big deal until you start looking at the little details. There's 2 holes for mounting the spear, and there is a little indentation cut in the lens that allows the mounting screw to not impact the lens and crack it. And also the standard mounting screw location that would be used in 54 and 55 is filled in. You can see where it's supposed to be, but there is no hole that goes all the way through for the mounting screw. So on these, your top mounting screw goes into the top of the housing through the spear, not into the housing. It would be in this location right here on a 54 or 55. So we're going to show you what you need to do to modify one of the Caddy Daddy lenses that's for 54 or 55 to make the modifications to make it look like this one that will accept a brand new reproduction spear. So what I've started out here by doing is I've laid out a couple of pieces of tape in the approximate location of the 2 holes, and all of our measurements today are going to be taken from this edge here, not the inner edge, but the outer, where the light lens transitions to the flat surface. So that's very important that you measure from that location. Our first measurement is for the hole that goes here is 1.024 inches. So we will take and make a little mark. Now this isn't the mark you're going to drill on yet. I'm going to show you a little technique to make drilling the hole easier on this sharp edge and rounded surface. The next hole, the front one, or the rearmost actually when it's mounted on the car, is 2.826, and we'll mark that. Now we got the approximate locations marked, and what I'm going to do, take a file, I'm going to come across that spot and just file a little flat spot. Now this is all going to be underneath the spear. You can see how wide the spear is. So and what that's going to do is when we measure here for real, which is coming up next, and what I'm going to do is I got my caliper set. I'm going to hook in on that edge, and I'm going to scribe a little line in the flat spot, which you can see very faintly there, but it shows up very clearly when you're here in person. So it'll show up good for you. And our other one is 10.024. We will scribe that line. Now what I'm going to do is remove the tape so that we can see where we need to drill. Because what we want to do is drill exactly on that ridge, in line with that ridge in our little flat spots. So I've started out with a 1/16 of an inch drill bit. And what you want to do is not melt the plastic. You want to drill it. So be very careful that you don't run your drill too fast. Now to the other location. Okay, I'm going to go up a few sizes. And our final diameter that we desire is 11/64. So work up from the 1/16 in small increments. You don't want to crack the lens. You don't want to have any problems, so just work up nice and slow. And I think I'm going to grab one more bit, run another step in between. Now to our final 11/64. Well, the first step of fitting our spear is now complete. Now the second part is to file this notch. That's not going to be in an area that's seen, so you have a little leeway in what you're doing. And if you start like that, at a little angle, you need to go about halfway. That gives you a relief for the screw as it enters the top of the spear and comes into the housing. And then just going to broaden it out a little bit with a half round. And then you'll want to use whatever type of sealer or epoxy or whatever you have handy to fill in this hole right here, so that you can put a piece of tape over the top and put some epoxy in here. That's just to keep the moisture out of the assembly, since that hole is not used. And on the original, you can see that it's solid. So now we're ready to mount the lenses onto the housings. Okay, well, we got everything ready. We got our lens modified. We got our gaskets in place. We've got our new backup light lens. So let's wrap this up. Get this thing put back together. So we'll start out by putting the two halves together and take a look down. And you've got the two flat-headed screws. And flathead is important so that they clear the red taillight lens. Kind of peek in the edge before it's tight and see if your screw's lining up or not, if they're giving you a little bit of trouble getting started. Tighten this up evenly. slowly to allow the gasket to compress. And now we'll get the top lens ready. So we have our new reproduction spear, which fits onto the top. And then you have two little clips that go onto the pins, which that inside one's a little bit difficult to reach. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to press those on all the way tight because this is just our demonstration piece. And that slips on there. This screw here goes into the bottom, and this screw here will go in the top, but I'd like to get this one started. Push the assembly together, get the upper. So there you go, 1956 tail lamp assembly. New lenses, new gaskets, new spear. Look awful nice on the back of your car. All the parts that we use today in this demonstration can be purchased from caddydaddy.com.
At Caddy Daddy Presents, it's all about giving back. Please enjoy the video of the Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Helena and Calistoga. You can donate by clicking the link in the video description.